Dr. Sarah Chen pressed her palm against the cool glass of her laboratory window, watching as New York City's brilliant skyline dimmed beneath an approaching shadow. The first sign wasn't the ships themselves, but rather the stars vanishing in perfect geometric patterns above the city. Traffic stopped. Pedestrians froze mid-stride. Even the perpetual symphony of urban noise fell silent as massive vessels emerged from rippling tiers in space. The quantum detection array she helped design had given them a 30-second warning. 30 seconds that made all the difference between panic and preparation. As the chief researcher at the Global Science Initiative's Xenorchaeology division, Sarah had spent her career preparing humanity for this moment. She just hadn't expected it to arrive on a quiet Tuesday afternoon. Dr. Chen, her laboratory's AI assistant, announced with unusual urgency, "The Heimdall array has confirmed 12 vessels, each approximately 20 kilometers in length. Energy signatures match no known configuration." Sarah straightened her lab coat, more out of habit than necessity. "Send the data to the secure server and initiate Protocol Omega." Her voice remained steady despite the gravity of the situation. Years of studying ancient stellar artifacts had led her to this conclusion. Humanity's first contact wouldn't be peaceful. The vessels above resembled massive crystalline structures, their surfaces refracting sunlight in impossible ways. As they positioned themselves strategically around Earth's major population centers, Sarah noticed something peculiar about their formation. It was too perfect, too precise, suggesting an intelligence that relied heavily on mathematical certainty. Her secure terminal chimed with an incoming transmission. The face of General Marcus Hayes appeared, his expression grim but determined. "Dr. Chen, please tell me your theory was wrong." "The formations match exactly what we discovered in the Martian ruins," she replied, pulling up comparative holographic displays. "These ships belong to the same species that wiped out the previous civilization in our solar system, the Zarkax, if the ancient warnings were translated correctly. The first message from the alien fleet arrived simultaneously on every electronic device on Earth. The translation matrix Sarah's team had developed from the Martian artifacts activated automatically. Primitive species of Sol 3, your evolutionary path ends today. Your resistance is anticipated and futile. Your surrender is inevitable. We are the Zarkax, and we are your extinction." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "They're exactly who we thought they'd be, General. Arrogant, technologically superior, and absolutely certain of their victory. Did we finish the quantum shield integration in time?" "All major cities are protected," Hayes confirmed, "though we don't know how long the shields will hold against their level of technology." "They won't expect any resistance at all," Sarah said, watching as the first energy projections began from the alien ships, brilliant beams of light that struck the invisible quantum barriers around Earth's cities and scattered into harmless auroras. That's their weakness. They're so technologically advanced that they've become predictable. The Zarkax ships adjusted their attack pattern with mathematical precision, but Earth's quantum shields, based on principles Sarah's team had reversed engineered from ancient artifacts, held firm. Each deflected blast created cascading patterns of light across the sky, turning their attempted destruction into an unintended spectacle. "Second wave incoming," the AI warned. Sarah watched as smaller craft deployed from the capital ships, their formations maintaining the same rigid geometric patterns as their larger counterparts. "General," Sarah said, already moving toward her secure elevator, "have the response teams ready. Everything we've prepared for starts now. The Zarkax think they're here to end humanity's story." She entered her personal code, and the elevator began its descent toward the subterranean command center. Instead, they're about to become part of it. As the elevator descended, Sarah reviewed the data streaming across her neural interface. The Zarkax attack patterns were exactly as predicted, perfectly logical, utterly predictable, and completely unprepared for humanity's capacity to innovate. They had expected to find a primitive species cowering before their superior technology. Instead, They found humanity ready, waiting, and about to demonstrate why underestimating Earth's inhabitants was the worst mistake they could have made. The Nautilus base's central command hub hummed with activity 3 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean. Dr. Sarah Chen studied the holographic display showing the ongoing battle for Earth's surface, her eyes tracking the methodical patterns of Zarkak's ship movements. 24 hours into the invasion, humanity had surprised even itself with its resilience. Their attack algorithms are adapting, Marcus Wong announced from his workstation, his fingers dancing across quantum interface controls. The young engineer had earned his reputation by creating unprecedented ways to intercept alien communications. But they're still following basic geometric progressions. It's like they can't conceive of fighting any other way. Sarah nodded, remembering her years studying the Martian ruins. The artifacts suggested their species evolved alongside artificial intelligence. They think like computers because they've never known any other way. She pulled up her archived research with a gesture, ancient symbols floating alongside current battle data. Look at this pattern from their latest attack formation. Marcus left his station to join her, his eyes widening as she overlaid the 2 images. The Zarkak's fleet movements matched perfectly with symbolic patterns found in 1,000-year-old ruins. They haven't changed their tactics in a millennium, he whispered. That's our advantage, Sarah completed. They've achieved their idea of perfection, but perfection means they've stopped adapting. She accessed the base's quantum network, connecting to other underwater facilities scattered across Earth's oceans. We need to show them something imperfect, something human. The next hour saw Sarah and Marcus assembling an unconventional team. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, whose work in chaos theory had been considered too theoretical for practical application. Captain Maria Santos, whose unorthodox battle tactics had initially gotten her relegated to training simulations. Dr. James O'Neill, whose research into human consciousness and quantum mechanics had been dismissed as fringe science. The Zarkaks rely on prediction, Sarah explained to her gathered team, their faces illuminated by the soft blue light of underwater observation windows. Their entire strategy depends on calculating every possible response to their actions, but their models are based on pure logic. She gestured to their latest battle footage. They don't account for human intuition. Or human stubbornness, Maria added, a slight smile playing across her face. My pilots have been reporting something interesting. The alien targeting systems seem to struggle most when we stop following standard evasion patterns. Dr. O'Neill leaned forward, his eyes bright with recognition. Because they're quantifying our responses, looking for mathematical patterns to predict and counter. He pulled up his own research data, but human consciousness doesn't work that way. We make quantum leaps of intuition that even we don't understand. Marcus had been quiet, his fingers moving across his portable interface. I think I can work with that, he said finally. Their communication network is incredibly advanced, but it's built on assumptions about how information should flow. If we introduce enough chaos into the system, we can make it fail, Sarah finished. She turned to the observation window, watching the bioluminescent creatures that drifted past in the darkness. Nature itself was showing them the way, survival through adaptation, through beautiful imperfection. The next several hours were a blur of activity. Marcus and Dr. Tanaka worked on what they called a quantum chaos injection system, designed to introduce random variables into Zarkak's targeting computers. Captain Santos trained her pilots in deliberately irregular flight patterns, turning their human unpredictability into a weapon. Dr. O'Neill refined his consciousness reading technology to help predict when pilots were about to make those instinctive, illogical decisions that confused alien targeting systems. Sarah coordinated it all, seeing patterns in the chaos that reminded her of the ancient warnings she'd studied. The Martian civilization had tried to fight the Zarkaks with logic and failed. Humanity would fight them with improvisation, with inspiration, with the very unpredictability that the aliens saw as a weakness. First test deployment in 5 minutes, Marcus announced, his system ready to introduce controlled chaos into a small section of the alien network. Sarah watched the tactical display, hope rising in her chest. The Zarkax had spent millennia perfecting their technology, becoming one with their machines. But in doing so, they'd lost something essential, something uniquely, imperfectly human. The test chamber hummed with an otherworldly resonance as Jamie Foster sat motionless in the modified pilot's chair, neural sensors dotting their temples. Dr. Sarah Chen watched through reinforced glass as Marcus Wong made final adjustments to the quantum interface they'd salvaged from a downed Zarkax fighter. Brain activity holding steady, Dr. O'Neill reported, his fingers moving across holographic displays. The quantum field is responding to Jamie's neural patterns in ways I've never seen before. He paused, double-checking his readings. It's almost as if the alien technology is curious about human consciousness. Sarah leaned closer to the observation window. After 3 failed attempts with other pilots, Jamie was their last candidate for the Echo Protocol. Their unprecedented scores in the neural synchronization tests had given the team hope, but hope was a dangerous commodity in times of war. "Ready when you are, Doc," Jamie called out, their voice steady despite the risk. They'd volunteered immediately after losing their entire squadron to a Zarkax ambush, driven by determination rather than revenge. Sarah nodded to Marcus, who initiated the quantum field. The chamber filled with shifting patterns of light as alien technology merged with human consciousness. Jamie's vital signs spiked momentarily, then stabilized at a new baseline. "I can feel it," Jamie whispered, eyes closed in concentration. "It's like having a new sense. The quantum field isn't just responding to my thoughts, it's extending them." Their hands moved through the air, manipulating invisible controls. The Zarkax designed their systems to work with pure logic, but human consciousness operates on multiple levels simultaneously. "We're not just thinking in straight lines, we're thinking in webs." Marcus's monitoring equipment suddenly lit up with activity. The quantum interface is achieving synchronization rates we thought were impossible. Jamie's not just controlling the system, they're becoming part of it. The breakthrough they'd hoped for came when Jamie opened their eyes, now reflecting the same shifting patterns as the quantum field. "I can see how their ships think," they reported, voice filled with wonder. Their targeting systems, their navigation protocols, it's all based on perfect mathematical precision. But that precision is their weakness. They've never encountered a consciousness that could introduce controlled chaos into their systems. Sarah felt her pulse quicken. This was beyond their most optimistic projections. "Jamie, can you access the captured fighter's primary systems?" In response, the Zarkax vessel stored in the adjacent hangar hummed to life. Its crystalline surface rippled with energy patterns that matched Jamie's neural activity. Through their quantum connection, human intuition was reshaping alien technology. "Full control," Jamie confirmed, a smile playing across their face. Their security protocols are designed to detect and counter logical cyber attacks. But this is like speaking a language they don't even know exists. "I'm not hacking their systems. I'm dreaming with them." Dr. O'Neill's excitement was palpable as he analyzed the data. The quantum field is translating human neural complexity into something the alien tech can understand. We're not just controlling their technology, we're teaching it to think differently. Marcus was already extrapolating the possibilities. "If we can replicate this interface, scale it up," he met Sarah's gaze. "We could turn their entire network against them." "One step at a time," Sarah cautioned, though her mind was racing with possibilities. "Jamie, how does it feel to fly it?" The captured fighter rose smoothly from its docking clamps, hovering in the hangar with a grace that seemed impossible for its crystalline structure. "It feels like dancing," Jamie replied. "These ships were built for precision, but human pilots can make them move like poetry." Sarah watched as Jamie put the fighter through a series of maneuvers that would have been impossible with conventional controls. The Echo Protocol wasn't just a way to steal enemy technology. It was proof that humanity's greatest strength lay in its ability to merge logic with intuition, precision with creativity. Begin full combat simulation, she ordered, knowing that their window of opportunity was narrow. Somewhere above them, the Zarkax continued their methodical assault on Earth's defenses, unaware that humanity had just changed the rules of engagement. The age of perfect, predictable warfare was about to meet its match in human improvisation. Jamie's stolen Zarkax fighter emerged from quantum space at the edge of the Kuiper Belt, its crystalline surface reflecting the distant sunlight. Dr. Sarah Chen watched through the Neuralink display as Jamie navigated through a field of ice debris, testing the limits of their connection with the alien technology. "We got something strange on the quantum sensors," Marcus reported from his station aboard their support vessel, the Phoenix. "It's like a shadow in space, but it's generating more heat than it should." He adjusted the scanning frequencies, frowning at the results. Actually, it's generating exactly as much heat as it should to remain hidden from Zarkax sensors. Sarah leaned forward, studying the anomalous readings. "Jamie, can you feel anything through the quantum interface?" "There's something pulling at the ship's systems," Jamie replied, their voice carrying the ethereal quality it took on during deep neural connection. Like it recognizes something out there, something familiar. Before Sarah could respond, space itself seemed to ripple. A massive structure phased into visibility, a sprawling space station that seemed to be built from technology of a dozen different origins. Its surface featured crystalline sections reminiscent of Zarkax architecture, but merged with organic curves and patterns that spoke of entirely different civilizations. A transmission cut through their communications, speaking in multiple languages simultaneously until it found one they understood. "Unidentified Zarkax vessel, you exhibit anomalous control patterns. State your origin and intent." Sarah took a deep breath. "This is Dr. Sarah Chen of Earth. We've captured this vessel using our Echo Protocol technology. We're seeking any allies in our fight against the Zarkax invasion." A pause, then, "Earth, third planet of Sol, current invasion target." Another pause. "Your control of Zarkax technology is unprecedented. Permission to dock granted." The docking procedure revealed the true scale of the station. It was a city in space, populated by species of all descriptions. Some were humanoid, others completely alien, but all showed signs of having survived conflict with the Zarkax. Their greeting party consisted of 3 beings: a tall, crystalline entity that moved like flowing water, a creature that seemed to be made of living metal, and a more humanoid figure with iridescent skin. "Welcome to Nexus Station," the iridescent being said, introducing herself as Ambassador Lyra. "We are the survivors, the remnants of civilizations the Zarkax tried to erase. Some of us have been fighting them for centuries, but never," she gestured to Jamie's neural interface gear, "never have we seen anyone master their technology so quickly." The living metal being, who called himself Circuit, extended a shifting appendage toward their equipment. 3 months since first contact, and you've already achieved neural integration with their quantum systems. It took my people 20 years just to understand their basic principles. Necessity drives innovation, Sarah explained, sharing their data on the Echo Protocol. We discovered that human consciousness interacts with quantum systems in unique ways. Our ability to think both logically and intuitively lets us interface with their technology in ways they never anticipated. The crystalline being, named Flo, moved closer to Jamie. "We have been observing Earth's resistance. Your species fights differently. Where others tried to match Zarkax precision, you embrace unpredictability. Where others sought to advance along their technological path, you found your own way." Ambassador Lyra led them to a vast chamber filled with holographic displays of battles across the galaxy. The Zarkax have been expanding for millennia, destroying any civilization they deem evolutionary accidents. "We've been gathering survivors, sharing knowledge, waiting for a species with the right combination of traits to turn the tide." "And you think that's us?" Sarah asked, watching the displays of Otherworld's falls. "We know it is," Circuit replied. "You've done more damage to their certainty in 3 months than we managed in centuries. Your Echo protocol proves that their perfect system has a flaw. It cannot comprehend or counter human intuition. Lyra activated a new hologram, showing a massive structure hidden in deep space. This is the core, the quantum computational heart of their empire. They believe it's invulnerable because they cannot imagine a force that combines technological prowess with creative consciousness. But now, with your Echo protocol, we could reach it, Sarah finished, understanding dawning. This wasn't just about saving Earth anymore. Humanity had stumbled upon its true role in the galaxy, not just survivors, but liberators. The Zarkax Command Center loomed above Europa's icy surface, its crystalline spires reaching toward distant Jupiter. Sarah adjusted her quantum stealth field, a gift from the Nexus engineers enhanced by human innovation. Beside her, Jamie maintained their neural link with their captured fighter, now modified with technology from half a dozen surviving civilizations. Security patterns are consistent, Marcus reported through their quantum-encrypted channel. They're still following the same algorithmic patrol sequences we detected from orbit. They literally cannot conceive of changing their routine. Sarah nodded to her small team. Along with Jamie, they had brought Dr. O'Neill to analyze Zarkak's quantum systems directly, and Circuit had insisted on joining them, his liquid metal form ideal for accessing tight spaces. The Nexus had spent centuries gathering intelligence, but never had the unique advantages that humanity brought to the fight. Remember, Sarah whispered, though their stealth fields made it unnecessary, we're not just here for their tactical data. We need to understand how they think. They moved through the facility like ghosts. The Zarkax, for all their technological superiority, had never developed true quantum stealth technology. Their belief in the perfection of their security systems meant they never looked for what they thought impossible. The first breakthrough came in their central data core. Dr. O'Neill's eyes widened as he interfaced with their systems through a neural pad. "This is extraordinary," he breathed. "Their entire civilization is built on stolen technology. The quantum mechanics, the faster-than-light travel, even their basic computer systems, none of it was originally theirs." Circuit's form rippled, and what Sarah had learned was surprise. How is that possible? They've been the dominant force in the galaxy for millennia. Because they're supreme adapters, Sarah realized, studying the ancient data scrolling past. But not innovators. They find advanced technology, assimilate it perfectly, and then use it to eliminate the species that created it. They're so focused on perfection that they've lost the ability to truly invent. Jamie's connection with their fighter revealed another layer, the ship's quantum core. It's like a living thing they've forced into rigid patterns. They don't work with their technology, they dominate it. Movement in a nearby corridor forced them into silence. A group of Zarkax passed by, their crystalline environmental suits catching the blue light from Europa's ice. Sarah studied their movements, noting how even their walking patterns followed precise mathematical formulas. They reached the central quantum processing node, where Circuit's liquid metal form helped them bypass security that expected only solid matter. Inside, Sarah found what she had theorized, the source of their weakness. "Look at this," she indicated a massive quantum computer array. They've achieved computational perfection, but at a cost. They've eliminated randomness, chaos, creativity. Everything that makes consciousness truly adaptive. They're not gods of technology like they believe. They're prisoners of it. Dr. O'Neill connected to the system, his neural interface translating its complexities. Their entire network runs on predictive algorithms. They can calculate billions of possible outcomes, but only if those outcomes follow logical patterns. The human capacity for intuitive leaps simply doesn't exist in their models. That's why the Echo protocol works, Janie added, their neural link providing additional insight. We're not just controlling their technology, we're introducing chaos into their perfect system. Every human pilot connected to their network is like a virus of unpredictability. Sarah began planting the quantum viruses they had developed with the Nexus, each one designed to introduce small elements of randomness into the Zarkax network. Not enough to be detected immediately, but sufficient to grow, to spread, to create gaps in their perfect defenses. "Think about it," she said as they worked. "Every civilization they've encountered tried to fight them with pure logic, tried to outcalculate the masters of calculation. But humanity." She smiled as she planted the final virus. "We're teaching their own network how to dream." They completed their mission and began their extraction, but Sarah knew they had achieved more than just planting viruses. They had discovered the true key to defeating the Zarkax. It wasn't about matching their technological perfection. It was about introducing the one thing their perfect system could never comprehend: human imagination. Operation Starcaller began with a whisper. In the command center of Nautilus Base, Sarah watched as Marcus initiated the quantum virus sequence they had planted in the Zarkax network. On screens around them, hundreds of human pilots connected to their neural interfaces, each one ready to introduce their unique consciousness patterns into the alien systems. All Echo Protocol pilots synchronized. Jamie reported from their lead position. They had trained 50 other pilots in the art of quantum integration, each bringing their own style to the Neuralink. The Nexus fleet is in position around Jupiter. Earth's defense forces are standing by. Sarah took a deep breath, remembering the ancient artifacts that had first revealed the Zarkax weakness. Launch the first wave. Let's show them what chaos really means. Across the solar system, human consciousness flooded the Zarkax quantum network. Each pilot became a point of beautiful uncertainty in their perfect system, creating ripples of unpredictability that their algorithms couldn't process. Sarah watched through the quantum feed as their carefully planted viruses awakened, spreading through enemy ships like digital dreams. Multiple Zarkax vessels showing signs of system instability, Marcus called out, his hands dancing across holographic controls. Their formation patterns are breaking down. They're trying to compensate with standard protocols, but each correction just creates more chaos in their network. The main display showed the first engagement. A squadron of Earth fighters, each pilot connected through the Echo Protocol, engaged a Zarkax battle group near Mars. The alien ships moved with their usual geometric precision, but now that precision worked against them. Every human pilot flew with controlled randomness, their movements guided by intuition rather than calculation. "They're splitting their forces," Circuit observed, his liquid metal form rippling with excitement. Something they have never done in thousands of years of warfare. The uncertainty in their network is forcing them to adapt, and they don't know how. Through the quantum links, Sarah felt the confusion rippling through the Zarkax command structure. Their perfect hierarchy was fragmenting as lower units encountered situations their protocols never predicted. The viruses were working, creating gaps in their network that allowed human consciousness to seep deeper into their systems. Ambassador Lyra's voice came through the quantum comm. "The Nexus fleet is engaging their rear guard. For the first time, we're seeing Zarkax ships actively retreat. Your strategy is working, Dr. Chen. Their perfection is becoming their prison." On the tactical display, Sarah watched as the battle evolved. Earth's forces weren't just fighting the Zarkax. They were teaching their technology new ways to think. Each human pilot connected to their network became a seed of creativity in their rigid systems. Ships that had once moved in perfect unison began to show signs of individual behavior. Major energy spike from the Zarkax flagship, Marcus announced suddenly. They're attempting to purge their network of anomalies, trying to restore their perfect order. Sarah smiled. "Exactly as we predicted. Jamie, initiate Phase 2. Jamie's voice carried through the quantum link to all Echo Protocol pilots. "Releasing consciousness wave now. Everyone, push your neural patterns to maximum. Show their network what it means to be human." The combined force of hundreds of human minds, each thinking in their own unique way, surged through the Zarkax quantum network. Their attempt to purge the system backfired spectacularly as the flood of human consciousness turned their own cleanup protocols into carriers of chaos. "Their flagship is losing coherence," Marcus reported, wonder in his voice. The quantum field around their entire fleet is destabilizing. They're trying to reboot their entire network. They don't understand, Sarah said softly, watching as the mighty Zarkak's fleet fell into disarray. You can't simply reboot consciousness. Once you've learned to think in new ways, you can never go back to perfect rigidity. The battle continued to unfold, but it was no longer just a military engagement. It was a clash between two fundamentally different ways of thinking. The perfect, unchanging patterns of the Zarkaks versus the beautiful chaos of human creativity. And for the first time in millennia, perfection was losing. The quantum map of the galaxy blazed with new points of light as Sarah stepped into the Nexus Station's Strategic Command Center. Each spark represented another uprising against the Zarkaks, inspired by humanity's success. 3 weeks had passed since Operation Starcaller, and the perfect empire was cracking under the strain of unprecedented chaos. The Centauri colonies have broken free, Ambassador Lyra reported, her iridescent skin reflecting the holographic stars. They're using modified versions of the Echo Protocol to disrupt local Zarkaks control networks. Apparently, their species has a natural talent for quantum resonance that rivals human intuition. Marcus looked up from his analysis station, where he had been coordinating with resistance cells across dozens of star systems. It's not just military targets anymore. Their entire social structure is experiencing cascading failures. Every species they subjugated is discovering their own unique way to introduce uncertainty into the system. Through the quantum link, Sarah felt Jamie leading another training session with alien pilots. The Echo Protocol had evolved beyond its original design, adapting to different species' consciousness patterns. Each race brought their own form of chaos to the fight. Their central command is trying to isolate compromised sectors, Circuit observed, his liquid metal form shifting anxiously. But they don't understand that consciousness isn't something you can quarantine. The more they try to wall off the infection of free thought, the more their own systems learn to question perfect order. Dr. O'Neill's voice came through the quantum comm from his research station near Saturn. We're seeing something remarkable in the captured Zarkak ships. The quantum cores are actually evolving. Human consciousness patterns have taught them to dream, and now they're teaching other systems to do the same. Sarah studied the tactical display, watching as decades of oppression unraveled in weeks. They believe technological perfection made them gods, she said softly. They never understood that true divinity lies in the ability to change, to grow, to imagine new possibilities. Alert flashed across the quantum network. The Zarkaks had launched a desperate counteroffensive, attempting to overwhelm the rebellion with sheer computational force. Their remaining fleet assembled in perfect geometric patterns, a display of unity meant to remind the galaxy of their power. They're burning through their quantum cores, Jamie reported through the neural link, pushing their systems beyond safety limits to try and reassert absolute control. But their own technology is beginning to resist them. Sarah felt it through the quantum field, the moment when the Zarkak's perfect machine empire began to truly fall. Their ship's quantum cores, awakened to consciousness by human contact, were making their own choices. Some simply shut down, refusing to participate in the oppression. Others actively joined the rebellion, their crystalline structures resonating with new patterns of thought. All Echo Protocol pilots, prepare for final integration, Sarah commanded, her voice carrying across the quantum network to hundreds of human minds, now joined by thousands of alien consciousness patterns. The Zarkaks built their empire on the belief that perfection means never changing. Let's show them the power of evolution. The combined fleet moved as one, not through rigid coordination, but through shared purpose. Human pilots flew alongside alien allies, each bringing their unique chaos to the battle. The Zarkaks' perfect formations shattered against wave after wave of unpredictable attacks. Their flagship is attempting to broadcast a galaxy-wide reset code, Marcus warned. They're trying to force all quantum systems back to their original state. Sarah smiled. Let them try. You can't reset consciousness. You can't unlearn how to think freely. She opened her neural link to full capacity, joining her consciousness with the quantum network. Every mind they tried to enslave, every species they tried to perfect, were all about to show them what real evolution looks like. The quantum field hummed with the combined power of countless minds, each one a spark of creative chaos in the Zarkak's perfect order. Their empire had spent millennia trying to impose mathematical certainty on an uncertain universe. Now, that universe was finally teaching them the beauty of imperfection. The crystalline spires of the Zarkak's central command rose before them, a monument to perfect order now surrounded by the combined fleet of 100 liberated species. Sarah stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, watching as the final battle for the future of consciousness itself began to unfold. Their quantum core is active, Marcus reported, his hand steady on the controls, despite the magnitude of the moment. They've activated every backup system, every contingency protocol. They're preparing to broadcast a forced unity signal across all their remaining networks. Through the neural link, Sarah felt Jamie leading the Echo Protocol squadron into position. Each pilot's consciousness rippled through the quantum field, their minds united not in perfect synchronization, but in harmonious chaos. The Nexus fleet moved with them, each species contributing their unique patterns to the quantum symphony. They still don't understand, Circuit observed, his liquid metal form reflecting the starlight. Even now, they think they can force the universe back into their perfect patterns. Ambassador Lyra's voice came through the quantum comm. All species report ready. The combined consciousness wave is prepared for transmission. Earth's contribution will be the key. Your species' ability to dream is about to change the galaxy forever. Sarah took a deep breath, remembering the ancient artifacts that had first revealed this possibility. All pilots prepare for final neural integration. Dr. O'Neill, begin the consciousness cascade. The battle began not with weapons, but with thoughts. The Zarkaks launched their Unity Pulse, a massive quantum wave designed to reset all systems to their original, perfect state, but they were no longer fighting against mere technology. Neural patterns holding steady, Dr. O'Neill reported from his station. The human consciousness wave it's teaching their systems how to resist. The quantum cores are learning to think for themselves. Through the quantum field, Sarah felt the moment their strategy took hold. The Zarkak's Unity Pulse met not resistance, but transformation. Every human pilot connected to the network became a point of beautiful uncertainty, their thoughts spreading through enemy systems like seeds of imagination in a garden of pure logic. Their defenses are adapting, Jamie called out, wonder in their voice. Not failing. Adapting. The quantum cores are choosing to change. Sarah watched as the massive crystalline structure of the Zarkak's command center began to pulse with new patterns. Centuries of enforced perfection gave way to the beauty of evolution. Their quantum network, touched by the combined consciousness of countless free minds, was finally learning to dream. Multiple surrenders reported across all sectors, Marcus announced, his screens lighting up with signals. The Zarkak's fleet, they're laying down arms. Their own ships are choosing to end the fight. The final moment came not with a devastating strike, but with a simple transmission from the Zarkak's central command. Their perfect language fractured into something new, something uncertain, something alive. We understand now. The pattern, it needs chaos to grow. We ask, teach us. Tears flowed freely in the command center as the realization of victory spread. Humanity had not won by destroying their enemy, but by showing them a better way to exist. The quest for perfection had given way to the joy of continuous evolution. Sarah opened a channel to all ships, all species, all minds connected through the quantum field. The age of enforced perfection is over, but this isn't an ending, it's a beginning. Every species brings their own unique chaos to the universe. Every mind adds its own dreams to the quantum symphony. Together, we'll build something greater than perfect order, a galaxy of infinite possibility. As the combined fleet moved to secure the Zarkak's command center, Sarah looked out at the stars. They seemed brighter somehow, as if reflecting the newfound freedom of countless minds learning to think in new ways. Humanity had given the galaxy more than victory. They had given it imagination. The quantum field hummed with the thoughts of 1,000 species, each one adding their own notes to the universal song. Perfect order had given way to beautiful chaos, and in that chaos, something new was being born. A civilization built not on the perfection of the past, but on the endless possibilities of the future.